Canadian reservations in less than a year. Then there's promotion. Under the Tourism and Media Shield Act, Canada has pulled all federal funding for marketing U.S. destinations, including New York. That means no more subsidized travel packages, no more tour groups, and no more Canadian exposure on the world stage. The financial sector isn't safe either. The digital platform tax is pushing Canadian regulators to pull back from US-based data platforms. Wall Street firms are already seeing Canadian contracts shrink, especially in digital advertising, fintech services, and data infrastructure. And trade? New York exports over $17 billion to Canada annually, from electronics to processed foods. But now, many of those shipments are facing delays, inspections, or outright rejection under Canada's import sanitation ban. For decades, New York has thrived on international ties. But with Canada building legal walls instead of bridges, those ties are starting to fray, and the cracks are showing. Number 4, Iowa. Quiet, agricultural, and often overlooked. But in Canada's new economic playbook, Iowa is ground zero for trade fallout. For years, Iowa has been one of the nation's top exporters of pork, corn, and soybeans, and Canada was one of its most dependable buyers. But not anymore. Under Canada's import sanitation ban, shipments of pork are being turned away over feed additives and hormone treatments that no longer meet Canadian standards. Entire truckloads are getting stalled or rejected at the border. Farmers are watching thousands of pounds of products spoil in storage or sell at a loss on secondary markets. The impact doesn't stop with meat. Corn and soybean exports are now under intense scrutiny. Pesticide rules have changed, and the crops Iowa relies on are no longer compliant. Grain elevators across rural counties are filling up, and there's nowhere to send the harvest. There's more. Fertilizer prices are spiking due to licensing restrictions in the new Energy Export Licensing Act. Canadian suppliers are pulling out of co-op deals, and ethanol plants are quietly slashing output or shutting down entirely. The fallout is cascading through rural communities. Packaging plants are downsizing, seasonal jobs are disappearing. Even local school districts are reporting revenue shortfalls due to the collapse in farm income. Iowa's economy was never flashy, but it was steady. Now, the very foundation it was built is crumbling. And federal support? Nowhere in sight. Number 3, Texas. Known for oil, exports, and unshakable pride. But even the Lone Star State is being pulled into Canada's quiet economic war, and the damage is already mounting. Start with energy. Texas exports massive amounts of refined petroleum and liquefied natural gas, and Canada was a key customer. But under the Energy Export Licensing Act, Canadian firms now need new, politically influenced approvals to import U.S. energy. And those approvals? They're slow, selective, and increasingly elusive. Several Texas refineries have already lost contracts worth tens of millions. The energy sector, once a juggernaut, is now facing unexpected resistance. Then there's agriculture. Texas beef, citrus, and cotton are staples in export markets. But Canada's import sanitation ban is rejecting shipments left and right, especially those tied to hormone usage and chemical traces. Canadian retailers are backing off, citing liability and safety concerns. Shelves that once held Texas oranges are now being stocked with imports from other countries. Tourism is unraveling too. Cities like Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio have long marketed to Canadian snowbirds and retirees. But the Travel Safety Designation Act now warns Canadians against visiting certain southern states, including Texas. Canadian visitor numbers are down over 35%, with rental bookings and hotel stays collapsing across major metro areas. Add to that Canada's automatic tariff trigger, which discourages long-term contracts with Texas exporters. What was once a confident trade relationship has become a legal minefield, and Texas is losing ground fast. Number 2, Michigan. The industrial heartbeat of America and the unofficial bridge between the two nations. For decades, Michigan and Ontario moved in near-perfect sync in trade, tourism, and culture. But now, that connection is breaking. The biggest blow? Auto manufacturing, Michigan's lifeblood. Canada's automatic tariff trigger is a direct strike at the heart of Detroit. Every time the U.S. raises tariffs, especially under the new trade policies of 2025, Canada retaliates within 72 hours. Auto parts, aluminum, and machinery are the first to get hit. Contracts are being cancelled. Costs are rising. And Canadian buyers are turning to Europe and Asia for alternatives. Tourism is another quiet casualty. Canadian travelers used to flood into Traverse City, Detroit, and the Great Lakes. But the Travel Safety Designation Act now discourages visits to parts of Michigan, citing political instability and safety concerns. Border crossings from Ontario are down by over 40%. Lakefront resorts and shopping centers are suffering. Even agriculture is bleeding. Michigan's apples, dairy, and packaged goods are being held up or rejected under the import sanitation ban. Pesticide regulations, labeling issues, and packaging standards are being used to block products, legally but ruthlessly. And the tech sector? Firms in Ann Arbor are losing contracts with Canadian universities and businesses, as data laws and platform taxes make U.S. partnerships harder to justify. Michigan isn't just feeling economic pressure, it's a feeling of betrayal. What was once a seamless partnership is now riddled with barriers, and the identity of America's gateway to Canada is slipping away. Number 1. Florida. Once Canada's winter playground. Now,
Don't forget to subscribe this channel for educational purpose. Keep learning and keep always